These people have done a remarkable job of insulating you from the vulgar realities of America. Trust me, if I could enroll as a freshman tomorrow, I would. But it's too late for me. It is also, as of today, too late for you. Are you feeling inspired yet? Please raise your hand if you're feeling inspired. Great. I'm going to call the folks in from Human Resources to come hose you down. See, there have been some layoffs. Okay. Fortunately, I have even more inspirational news. You are entering a world that is not openly hostile to art. It is merely indifferent. The driving force in any free market culture is toward the acquisition of money and power. Artists have a different set of priorities. We want people to experience their true feelings, the bad data of their hearts. We don't want this just to be mean, but because we want to feel less alone. We want to hack through the small emotions that compose our defenses to the big, scary emotions that make us feel genuinely alive. It's a religious impulse. I happen to believe that most Americans are dying of loneliness. We have invested our faith in the false gods of marketing and ego need and monetized distraction. Can anyone dispute the fact that we're living very much like the Romans who nailed Jesus Christ to a cross? Am I now suggesting, to the deeper distress of your poor parents, that you should get rid of all your possessions and prance around in a white raiment, spouting socialist rhetoric for a loyal retinue of lepers and whores? I suppose I am. I suppose I can think of nothing that would make me happier. But I am not suggesting that you show disdain for an honest day's labor, and specifically the variety of labor that might pay you a livable wage. I myself have taken plenty of lousy jobs over the years. In high school, I sold lawn aeration services door to door. In college, I washed dishes. In El Paso, I reviewed the Puerto Rican boy band Menudo on 4 separate occasions. If you are now pitying me, consider this. A few years ago, I agreed to write a short piece for the magazine Martha Stewart Living. I will note unnecessarily that Martha Stewart represents pretty much everything I hate. Personal branding, conspicuous consumption, shrimp forks. I told my friends I took the job because working for a convicted felon would give me street cred. But the truth is, her stupid magazine pays really well. My point is that artists don't live in a vacuum. We don't live on some exalted cloud above everyone else. We live in the world with its eager distractions and petty needs. Please disabuse yourself of the fantasy that your art will pay the bills. It is wiser to view your art as an unfortunate habit you must support. So try to find a day job that genuinely engages you. If that doesn't work, marry into wealth. I hope you will also resist the myth of the suffering artist. It's a load of crap. You don't have to be miserable to make beautiful art. On the contrary, the central byproduct of sustained misery, I have found, is the eventual disappearance of all your friends. It is more accurate to say that artists must be willing to draw from the unbearable feelings within them, but not so as to wallow in them or confuse anguish with depth. The idea is to be sad in your studio so that you might be happy in your lives. You can see the night sky above Arles as Van Gogh did, and you do not have to cut off your ear. If your apprenticeship is anything like mine, it will take longer than you think. You will endure a lot of rejection and disregard. There's a good chance that you will fantasize about killing people who are really just doing their jobs. There's a good chance you will never be famous. Try not to let this bother you. Fame is a modern pathology. It has nothing to do with your capacity to create truth or beauty. Disappointment, by the way, is a perfectly natural reaction to the state of the world. But please, don't convert your disappointment into a sophisticated pose. It's far too late in the game for poses. I mean by this that our species is presently in a condition the scientists would call deep doo-doo. We are living in an era of frantic screen addiction and capitalist pornography. We are squandering the exalted gifts of consciousness, losing our capacity to pay attention, to imagine the suffering of others. You are a part of all this. It involves you. This is the true labor we're trying to perform, convincing strangers to translate our words and sounds and images into stories capable of generating rescue. That you are inheriting a planet in such sad shape should not be a source of despair, but inspiration. You've come along just in time, folks. You are going to save this place. At the very least, you're going to try, which is all we can do. Amid this high-blown rhetoric, I would ask you to remember a final, homely truth. The greatest impact you're going to have during your lifetime is on your loved ones. My son and daughter could care less how many books I publish. They just want a dad who's around to love them. So after we're all done here, go find your parents and hug them and tell them you love them. Because they have loved you from the day you were born. If not perfectly, then as perfectly as they could. Do the same thing with your brothers and sisters and your friends and lovers, and even if you can stand it, with your teachers. It's not a crime to increase the greater sum of gratitude and love in this world. In fact, as of right now, this blessed moment, it's your job. Thank you.